We've hit the halfway mark in the first part of the Super League season, and we've hit the road to Salford. It's been a total turnaround for the Red Devils this year. Last season they survived by the skin of their teeth.
O'Brien, he's going for the drop goal right from the start. O'Brien, has he got it? Oh, he has got it! He has got it!
But in 2017 it's been so far so good for Salford.
They've got numbers here now. Junior Sal ripping through.
Janelle screwed himself and Brenning, what a finish!
Shake left, went right, contact!
Murdoch Marcella fends away one, he'll go through for the try, and that just about sums up the game. Salford absolutely dominant.
So O'Brien's going for the drop goal. O'Brien has put the ball between the sticks.
That's a lovely kick from Louis, and Hamels will score. Salford in total control.
Wow, what a move!
Well, Salford play Widnes today, and we are building up to kick off. And we're joined by Todd Carney and Mark Flanagan. Todd, how are you enjoying life in Salford?
Yeah, Salford's been good. As I was just mentioning before, it's a similar feel to Canberra where I grew up. The weather hasn't been too much of an issue for me, and yeah, it's been good. The club and the boys have welcomed me into the club really well, and unfortunately the last few weeks have been out with injury, but hopefully be back sooner rather than later.
And Mark, we'll say it quietly, but so far so very good for Salford this season, particularly in comparison to last.
Yeah, we've been playing well. I think the £1 million game was a bit of a kick up the backside for us last year, and we don't want to be in that position again. I think we started well this year. We've been lucky with injuries, and we've hit some good form, and you know we're at the halfway point now, so we can kick on and play some good rugby towards the end of the season. I think we'll be all right. And
Todd, for you, what was the atmosphere that you walked into? Did you feel you were walking into a really tight-knit group of guys here?
Yeah, definitely. Before I come, obviously it took a while to get the deal done here, but speaking to players from previous clubs before, Michael Dobson, Justin Carney, they said that's the main thing about the group is a tight-knit group of players, and then when I first got here I noticed that, and since being here a couple of months now, they were right. It's a tight-knit group. Away from football, we're close. There's a coffee club, and like every club, but you can feel that there's a good group, and on the field it's shown the way the boys are sticking in games and winning in the tight ones.
And you're amongst a group of incredibly creative players. When you're all on the pitch, how do you decide who does what?
Well, Dobbo's the boss. That's why his nickname's the General, and yeah, we just sort of play off the back of that. It's been quite lucky when we do get on the field that we've mixed well together. So hopefully we can continue to do that. And when I do come off the bench, it's been a blessing.
Mark, I suppose when you started out this season, it was definitely not to be in that £1 million game. Are you looking at the top four and saying we can be in this?
Yeah, 100%. I think we've proven that on our day we can match anybody, and you know we're an ambitious club and an ambitious group of players. So we are looking at that top 8 and top 4 towards the end of the season. And you know I think Todd alluded to it earlier. With that team spirit that we've got can take us anywhere. And you know, keep turning up and working hard for each other. You know, we'll see how it goes.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you back out there soon, Todd. So while they go and get ready for today's game, we will look at Ian Watson. Ian, what are these last sort of hour and a half before a game like for you?
Oh, a little bit different from when you're a player, a little bit more nervous. Whereas once you come in the change rooms and you have a chat, you kind of just focus on your job and kind of your first involvements in the game and the first 5 minutes of the game. As a coach, it's kind of different. You're kind of worrying about individuals, making sure they're prepared, making sure they're ready to go out. So it's always kind of a nervous time, this bit. And
do you sort of take a look at the players? You know them so well, individually, make sure they're all right? Can you see in their eyes that they're kind of ready to go?
Yeah, a lot of it's observing them through time, like you say, over the last year, really getting to know players and knowing kind of their body language in the change rooms and seeing what they're like. And if people are kind of off that, you get lots of different characters in the change rooms, from the serious kind of guys to the guys who want to have a laugh and a joke, and it's just about respecting each other's space, really.
Mark Flanagan has said to us, you know, yes, we can make that top 4. Are you setting those as targets, or are you really trying just to focus game by game?
We go game by game, but we do have a big focus as a group of setting really high standards and high expectations for ourselves as well, and the top 4 is not below us. We've put ourselves in a great situation. In the first half of the season, you give yourself a big tick and a pat on the back and say well done. Now it's into the second part of the season now, and see if we can nail that top 4 slot down.
Ian, thanks very much for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season. Well, Salford, Ian, you've been working your socks off, I know, behind the scenes to try to get the fans in. How's it going? What do you make of you know, the reaction that you're getting from the public around here?
We started off the season pretty good with good attendances, Wigan, Castleford, but they brought a lot of fans with them. Disappointed with today's sales up to now, so we're hoping sun's keep shining and people rock up on the feet. But today's been pretty slow ticket sales. That's why I was on social media.
It is unlike you because you're a very positive person. There was an air of despair, I have to say, about the tweets you were putting out.
I was voicing my disappointment. It was whether people took that as a negative, that's up to them, but it was disappointment, and I'm not a politician. I won't spin it. I'll tell it as it is, and it was a rally cry more than anything to say get behind this team because we're going well. We're challenging for top 3 today, top 4 always, and this city of Salford needs to get behind the team.
You were here, obviously. I mean, is it a fairly unique challenge here, getting people to come?
I'm not sure. I think we're just going to wake up to the fact that they are a top team. That's probably the difference of the last few years. Whilst they've been struggling down the bottom end of the table and trying to get to the higher echelons, well, they're actually there now. And somebody should be knocking all of these doors in Salford and saying, mate, have you seen the rugby league team we've got here? Because the brand of football is very good as well. It's entertaining. So I can understand Ian's frustrations, but it's a tough nut to crack. But they persevere and who knows what will happen.
It is a difficult one, though, isn't it, though? Because it is a business. If you can't get the fans coming in here, is there a point where you go, we can't make this work?
Yeah, well, we've got to look at all options, and I know we're looking at farther afield to see what we can bring in corporately for that and business-wise for that. We've got Robbie Hunter-Paul working in the back office now for us, so he's going to be pushing on the business front for us. So yeah, we want to be a super league club. I want to be up the top 4. I don't want to be down there at the bottom, and that goes into the corporate world as well as the fans. So
it is a challenge for rugby league, isn't it? There's so many things that people can be doing. I mean, especially around here, we're a stone's throw from Old Trafford, from the Trafford Centre, all the rest of it.
I was about to mention that. There's a big city next door to Salford because you can't mix the two up, but there's a whole audience, a whole new audience that we've never quite tapped to in rugby league, and it's right in the middle of our heartland. So Manchester needs to play its part for sure. This is a Salford identity and a Salford club. The people of Salford need to support as well. I remember years by at the Old Willows when it was 8, 9, 10,000, so the people are there and they need to come back.
Well done for what you've achieved so far this season. So it is Salford against Widnes.
Real arm wrestle in this opening 20 minutes. Dennis Betts, I guess, will be fairly pleased. Widnes carrying on where they left off against St Helens. Here's Kopchak for Salford. Come close on a couple of occasions. Ball goes to the right again with Dobson and Louis. Murdoch-Masila. Well, he's going to score! You just can't stop him from there. Man mountain. Terrific try. Here's Louis again. Oh, and Big Ben. Unstoppable, it seems, this afternoon. On the right, Dobson. Cut out pass. Wellham with a kick through. Johnson! Wonderful from Greg Johnson. We've seen some great tries this season from wingers, and that one is right up there. Big 40 minutes ahead for Widnes, you feel, as they try to get off the bottom of the Super League table for the first time this season. Mellor and Gilmore combining. Here's the captain, Houston. Well, that's a lovely little sidestep from Gilmore. He's got some room here. Patrick Arvan, great offload. Well, that is a deserved try from Widnes. Tom Gilmore with the score. You felt they had to get the first try of the second half, and they have. Again, Salford exposing this right-hand side. A lot of Salford's players come down here. Wellham stopped just short. Here's Murdoch-Masila. Now they switch play. Well, that's a lovely kick from Louis, and Evans will score right off the training ground. Widnes didn't see it coming, but Evans with a crucial Salford try. Dodson now. What a great offload. Stephen Marsh, has he got the legs? Good tackle. The Widnes have got men out wide if they can stretch the ball with Gilmore. Great cut-out pass for Patrick Arvan. He's got the strength and he's got the power and he's got the try. A 10-point ball game. Widnes still very much in it. Dobson eluding the tackle. Does well, just a couple of yards away from the try line. Well, Ben Fagler, patience running out. penalty it is. Dobson will not miss from here and stretches the advantage to 10 points. While Salford closing in with a little over 10 minutes to go. Tompkins and Dobson again. With ball in hand, they've looked really good this afternoon, and Josh Jones not far away again. It's Bibby at acting halfback this time. Back to the wall for the Vikings here. Here's Dobson now, and Louis again combining for Ben Murdoch-Masila, and Big Ben gets a second. That will do it. One of the standout stars of Super League this season. Unstoppable. Well, there's some icing on the cake here for Salford. 26-10 they lead. Bibby in off the wing. It's been another tough day at the office for Widnes. Josh Jones just held short. Oh, he gets the offload to Bibby, and that'll do it. Another dominant Salford performance. 6 wins out of 7. Widnes stay bottom of the table.
How tough was that today?
Yeah, it was a tough one. Obviously we lost a few men and a lot of the young boys came in, but I think they stood up really well. Widnes are a good side, obviously they had a good win last week, but to get the 2 points there was massive for us.
Really happy to be out there. Obviously the result's not gone our way, but we're down on troops at the minute and lost a few more today, but we'll keep working hard.
We had a tough Easter with a trip to Catalan's, a turnaround. We've had a few injuries, but I think we showed the strength in depth we've got today. You know, a few boys coming in who've not played much, myself included, and it was good to get a win today, yeah.
For a young player like Niall Evans, you know, he wants to play every week. He must be disappointed. But how pleased were you at the way he took his opportunity today?
Oh no, I think he's shown what Niall's about at being really good. The squad we've spoken to him about this is biding your time and taking your opportunity, and that's what Niall's done there. And I know it's difficult for a player like Niall because he'd had a great season a couple of years ago, and Gaz O'Brien's come in, took the number 1 shirt, and he's had to really fight for his slot. But Niall's come in today and took his opportunity with both hands and done a great job.
There's plenty of desire and attitude in our team. Like I say, we just look a little bit fractious and beaten up at the moment, because that's what losing does to you. It takes away your confidence. It puts you in a dark place. To climb out of that takes a little bit of something special, and it's what was disappointing more than anything else is that we had a real gutsy effort last week against St Helens. It was a big game, and a lot of work went into getting that win from the players. We've had a couple of days off this week. We've trying to find some energy from somewhere, and we just didn't turn up with it today. And that's your job. You've got to turn up and want to win.
Brian, what did you make of that game and the quality of it?
A team down on their luck and performances in relation to confidence, Widnes, and then Salford knowing when to inject themselves. I thought physically they just got on top of the opposition, and then came up with a few smart plays at the right time to get them over the line. I thought, you know, they look very strong here, and I think the scoreline perhaps did flatter them a little bit towards the end, but they've got some good players and had game breakers, whereas probably Widnes at the wrong time got the wrong bounce of the ball.
Ian Watson talked beforehand about the depth of the squad, and that this was an important game to show that. What did you make of the players that came in and a couple of the youngsters that they had?
Well, I also got the impression that they didn't look out of sorts when those players were on the field, so the extras that they're bringing in are not disadvantaging them, and so when they get their better players back, they'll be thankful for that. And that's the challenge of any squad in Super League. You've got to try and make the changes seamless, because every team, and we've spoken about it on the Super League show, is going to go through a run of injuries, and it's how you cope with those injuries is probably the difference to where you finish in the league, and it looks seamless, didn't it?
So at the end of around 12, how do they all stand in the Betfred Super League table? Castleford stay top, and the Tigers are now a point clear of Hull, who move into second. St Helens are up to 7th after their win against Lee, a result which leaves the Centurions just a point clear of Widnes at the bottom.